Welcome to Building Families, Bridging Differences, a family law journey.
Hello, and welcome back to Building Families, Bridging Differences, a family law journey with Shelly Booth Cooley. Shelly is a certified family law specialist and the founder of the Cooley Law Firm in Las Vegas. She focuses exclusively on family law, helping clients with divorce, custody, adoption, and assisted reproduction, and is known for her compassionate, straightforward approach. I'm Heidi Mack, and today we're talking about second parent and step-parent adoptions, a vital legal process that gives full parental rights to someone who's raising a child they didn't biologically create. This is second parent and step-parent adoption in Nevada, protecting every parent. Thank you again for joining us, Shelley. We appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you. So let's get started. What exactly is a second parent or step-parent adoption, and how do they differ from other types of adoption?
So a step-parent adoption is an adoption that happens when one of the birth or biological parent, their spouse, adopts a child.
Mm-hmm.
A second parent adoption is more commonly seen in adoptions where a child was conceived through art. When a child is conceived through art, which is assisted reproductive technologies. Now, we have something, well, I'm so excited, and I'm a law nerd, so I can be so excited about this. But me and two other attorneys, we did the first rewrite of the adoption statutes in Nevada. And we got it passed, and it becomes law October 1st, 2025. So, such a huge, exciting accomplishment. We worked with Clark County Department of Family Services, Clark County District Attorney's Office, our licensed adoption agencies, Washoe County Department of Family Services, Washoe County District Attorney's Office, and the Public Defender's Office. So we worked with all of these folks, and we came to a consensus. We rewrote, we fixed a lot of very antiquated language.
Mm-hmm.
And we made these statutes so that someone can read them and understand exactly what they need to do to adopt someone. Now, part of the reason that is so important is previously all adoptions, whether they were dependency adoptions, meaning foster adoptions, which is how they're referred sometimes, private or independent adoptions where adoptive parents and birth parents are working with a licensed adoption agency, because Nevada is an agency state. So you have to work with an agency, or a family adoption. We have actually, we carved out, we separated the dependency adoptions from the independent adoptions. So the dependency adoptions, because they're so very different, they have their own statute now, or their own chapter. And then we also have the independent adoptions in their own chapter. And we now have confirmatory adoptions. We have close family adoptions. We have identified adoptions, and we have agency adoptions. So, then we have adult adoptions as well. So we rewrote the statutes. We cleaned them up. We fixed the rules. We fixed what's required so that it makes sense. We had stuff in our statutes that people that had been practicing since almost the time that we had the adoption statutes didn't know what this office was, and it did not exist anymore. And it was required to be provided notice. So we had just some things that really needed to be out of there. But now we actually have a statutorily mandated or statutorily allowed is the better word, ways to complete these different types of adoptions, which is so absolutely exciting. So if you need a confirmatory adoption, which is often, that's what we do when we are using assisted reproductive technology, or with same-sex couples, we might have a confirmatory adoption, or with folks who the child is born here and we only have one parent on the birth certificate, we can do a confirmatory adoption to have the second parent added. So now step-parent adoptions fall under the close family adoption chapter or section. They haven't the statutes together in a way that we actually know what to refer to each one yet, but we think they're going to have their own little carve out, but we're not sure. We have to see what LCB, Legislative Council Bureau, how they put them together. So then we'll know what to actually call them. If you're adopting through an unknown birth parent, then you do an agency adoption. So we actually have the types of adoptions that we do every day, and we have statutes that spell out and indicate what is required, what's not required, so that we can complete them. So it's incredibly exciting.
I hope everyone is listening that you need to go to your law firm. I don't think I've ever met a lawyer that actually has been part of writing the actual law.
It's not uncommon. Nevada is a really cool state in that we are so small that attorneys can be involved in writing legislation and lobbying. I'm also an unpaid lobbyist with Nevada Justice Association. So I review all the the proposed domestic legislation with a committee. We monitor, we lobby, we testify before the legislature is needed at the state level. This is not at the federal level. But it's really cool that we can be involved on such an intimate basis of what is happening in the laws in this state. It's very cool. I love it.
It is very cool. I mean, so yeah, I know you have all the answers now. So let's get to a question like, why is it so important to legally formalize the parent-child relationship? Like, who are some of the families who benefit most from doing that?
Let's say that we have a parent who, in a, at a younger age, had a relationship, conceived a child. Birth mom oftentimes is who's going to have custody of the child. Birth mom has raised the child. The birth father has not been part of the picture. And birth mom has met someone, wants to get married, or, is in a significant relationship. You don't have to be married to adopt. We have different mechanisms we can use. And aside from the fact that the child wants, to be able to be adopted, which that often is something that parents consider, you also have the legal ramifications. What if something were to happen to birth mom? Legally speaking, that child would go to the birth father if he's established paternity, meaning if he's on the birth certificate, even though he has not had a relationship with this child. So you would have a situation where child is being raised by mom's spouse or partner. And if mom were to pass away, or if something were to happen to mom, then that child would be removed from, the parent that she knows and be placed with a parent that she doesn't know. That certainly isn't a situation that I think that would be best for a child. You also have a situation, say with a same-sex couple. Being on the birth certificate is not a court order. It is an administrative document. So if you are on your child's birth certificate, let's say we have same-sex parents and they're both on the birth certificate, you can go to jurisdictions that are LGBTQ plus unfriendly or refuse to recognize same-sex parents on a birth certificate. And if something were to happen to your child, or even if one of the parents who needed to go to the school and, take care of the child, a school in another jurisdiction could say, nope, we don't recognize your type of relationship. We're not going to do that. Wrong. I agree. So what we need to do is we need to do an actual adoption. Does it seem kind of wild that you're adopting your own child? Absolutely. It is unfortunate. It used to make me really upset and angry that I had to do these. And then I was talking to one of the many clients that I have, and she said, I'm just really glad that we can do this. And I was like, oh, that was a light bulb. Yes, I am absolutely ecstatic that we can do this in Nevada so I can safeguard a family and I can make sure that a child's parents are always going to be able to be there to take care of that child. So it's very important. Though I would say that those are the primary reasons. And also public policy supports adoption. Public policy supports having, building families and raising children. So adoption very much falls in line with that.
So then what does that process actually look like then in Nevada for step parents and second parents? Like, what are the key steps?
So with a confirmatory adoption, we've always done them here, but we've got the chapter or the section on confirmatory adoptions. So what we need to have in order to do a confirmatory adoption is we need to have a birth certificate or a court, or we need to have a birth certificate that lists both parents, or we need to have a parentage order that says these are the parents of the child, put them on the birth certificate, and based on or some other evidence that's sufficient. We wanted to have a judicial discretion in there so that if there was a situation that didn't fit those two specifics, that we would still be able to do a confirmatory adoption. So those are the basics. And what we do is we take those documents, file our petition, allege that, these are the parents of the child, they're on the birth certificate, or their parents by court order, etc. And then we file that with the court. We set a hearing, and then we go before the hearing and we finalize the adoption.
So once the adoption is finalized, what rights and responsibilities does the adoptive parent gain, and how does that impact things like custody, inheritance, medical decisions?
Once an adoption is final, the adoptive parent is the legal parent of that child and has all the rights and responsibilities of a biological parent. There is no difference in the eyes of the law between a biological parent and an adoptive parent. So everything, custody, those issues would come into play whether you're the adoptive parent or the biological parent. There is no difference. So whatever a biological parent would have to do, the adoptive parent would have to do as well, or or whatever.
Mm. Well, as we know, Shelley has a lot of information, but we'll just sum up here with one last thing. Like, what advice would you give to someone who's acting as a parent but isn't legally recognized as one and wants to change that?
Talk to an attorney as soon as possible. There are, depending on the situation, we can advise you about what your best course is, what type of adoption is going to be the best adoption to pursue, if that's what you'd like to do. But it's really important to talk to an attorney. This is something that we love doing. These are some of my favorite type cases, and they would be very happy to help you.
I can definitely see the passion that you have. And like I said, you helped write some of this law. So I'm telling everyone to come to you in Nevada.
Yes. Love this stuff. Yes.
Well, thank you for tuning in to Building Families, Bridging Differences with Shelly Booth Cooley. If you're raising a child and want to make sure your legal rights as a parent are fully protected, whether as a step parent, domestic partner, or part of an LGBTQ plus couple, Shelley and her team can guide you through the process. Visit Cooley, that is COOLEY, lawlv.com to learn more. And don't forget to leave a review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Thank you again so much for all your information and for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.